for D, it says, as t goes to infinity, which particle will eventually be farther from the origin? And give reason for your answer. So essentially, we want to know the position, x position, and y position as t goes to infinity. Well, the x position, all we're going to do is we've been given the function 6 minus 4e to the negative t, and we just want to know what happens as t goes to infinity. So we're just going to take a limit here, and as we evaluate this limit, the limit as t goes to infinity of our x position, we end up with t to the e to the negative infinity, which is 0. So we're going to end up with x equals 6 as t goes to infinity. So basically the x goes closer and closer to 6 units away from the origin as t goes to infinity. For the vertical position or y position, we're going to take that function that we calculated up here. This is going to give us the position of y, and we're just going to let t go to infinity. To do that, we really should have a limit. So I'm just going to, for the area part, as we calculate the area underneath that velocity curve, we're just going to use a limit because t is going to go to infinity, and we're just going to evaluate this limit. So when we evaluate this limit, this works out to be 2 plus, we're going to anti-differentiate the 1 over x function, so we get negative 1 over x, and then we're going to use, sorry, I need to use my limit notation still. This is going to be the limit as t goes to infinity of the antiderivative negative 1 over t, so 1 over x, and this is going to give us the bounds from 1 to t, and we're going to let t go to infinity. So this is 2 plus, and as I plug infinity into here, I'm going to end up with negative 1 over infinity, because t is going to be infinity, minus negative 1 over 1. Okay, so this works out to be 2 plus, that works out to be 0 plus 1. So the y position is going to be at 3. It's going to get closer and closer to 3, y equals 3, as t goes to infinity. So which particle will eventually be farther from the origin? Okay, the x particle will be further. Okay, because it's going to be 6 units from the origin, whereas the y particle will be 3 units from the origin.